Your company didn't pick its AI tool because it was the best one for your work. They picked it because it was the easiest to procure. And right now, that decision is quietly turning into a retention problem, and almost nobody upstream is talking about it in that way. If you're an individual contributor, you should probably already be feeling this. The default tool gives you something that sounds plausible but isn't usable. You spend 30 minutes cleaning it up. Nobody sees that time. The tax is invincible because it's distributed across individuals. 5-minute corrections here, a manual double check there, and the little internal flinch when the output looks fine, but inside you know it isn't. And if you're a manager or a director, I think you're hearing the other side of it. Someone on your team wants Claude. Someone else is expressing that they want ChatGPT. And someone has Perplexity on maybe their personal account. And it keeps getting framed as preference. It isn't. This is performance. Here's what most people get wrong when they try to push back on their AI usage. They argue the tool is bad. That argument loses every single time. It sounds like a complaint, and it sounds disloyal. It sounds like you're the problem, not the tool. So here's what we're going to cover today in this video. First, why your current argument isn't landing. Second, how to reframe the ask so you're not attacking the default that's given to you. And third, the 1-week test that turns frustration into evidence. And by the end of this video, you should have a path that's small enough to get approved and sharp enough to actually work. Let's dive into it. The problem is that AI tools look interchangeable from far away. Chat boxes, models, enterprise plans, security reviews, they all look close enough. But companies aren't used to talking about the difference at that level of work. Whether retrieval finds the right thing or not, whether reasoning actually holds up across messy data, and whether the output needs an hour of cleanup before you'd actually send it. They're not used to seeing it from this high-level view. So when you walk in and say Copilot is bad or I need Claude, you're walking into a category that the organization knows how to ignore. It hears preference. Everyone has preferences, and the company can't run procurement every time a team wants a different interface. That's just how life works, right? The claim that moves people upstream isn't that this tool is bad. It's for this specific job, the default costs us 4 hours extra a week compared to with a specialist, and I can prove it with data. That sentence travels to an organization very differently. The first one is a complaint, and the second one is a number. And numbers survive meetings, complaints don't. And because the cost of a bad default is paid in 30-minute chunks distributed across individuals in an organization, it never shows up as a line item. The company doesn't see it. It's invisible. Procurement definitely doesn't see it, and your job is to make it visible. Now, most people make the ask too big. Don't ask the company or the organization to rip out the default. The argument loses almost every time. Vendor consolidation is real. Integration work that's already been paid for is real. If your company picked Copilot because it was already deep in the Microsoft ecosystem, that wasn't necessarily an irrational decision when you really think about it. Ask a smaller question instead. Within our commitment to the default, whatever it may be, what specific subset of work is the default doing worse than a specialist? And what would it cost the organization to add that specialist only for the subset? That keeps the company's prior commitments intact. It doesn't threaten the stack. It gives everyone a way to say yes without reversing themselves, which is politically how things move in an organization. Now the test. Pick one job your team does every week. Not 3 jobs, not your entire workflow. I'm going to say this over and over until it sticks. Just pick one job. It needs to meet 4 criteria. It runs at least weekly, it takes at least 30 minutes, you've done it long enough by hand to recognize good output instantly from bad output, and the output has a real audience, a customer, a manager, a team channel in Slack, someone who would notice if the quality actually dropped. And if nobody sees the output, the company can dismiss it as a personal workflow preference. If the output goes to a real audience, though, the quality has a reference. So we want to run that same job through the corporate default and then also through the specialist that you want. Same input, same success criteria. Track the time spent, rework required, quality, and whether you'd actually send the result. By the end of the week, you have between 5 and 15 rows of data, which is probably more real evidence about your work than anything produced during the original procurement decision. This is so powerful. And get the success criteria right. Don't just measure what vendors measure: tokens, output length, formatting. Measure what your team actually cares about. Know the business you're in. Play the game. Did this save me 30 minutes I used to spend scrolling Slack? Would I have merged this PR based on the agent's review? Did this correctly identify the deals without next steps? Then extrapolate honestly. If you're getting an hour back per day and 40 people across the org are doing similar work, that's an engineering year right there. And now here's the part most procurement conversations miss. AI native companies don't have this fight. They default to, yes, please use the tool you need. The only gate is data responsibility. The procurement process is permissive on tooling and tight on governance. The order matters. Traditional companies are running it backwards. Tight on tooling, loose on actual work outcomes. They're standardizing on a vendor decision that happened forever ago and called it discipline when it's mostly inertia. The people doing the work feel the difference first. They feel it in the cleanup, the second pass, the moment a specialist gives them 15 minutes back in their day, every single day for a month. And underneath it, talent is concentrating at the companies that get this right. I hear this directly from people that are leaving, not over compensation, not over a title, but over their tools. Because tool fluency at work is now a career level skill, and spending 2 years stuck with a bad default is a real cost to your career trajectory. So if you're an executive, the honest question isn't whether your AI default is good enough. It's whether you would know if it was actually costing you. And the answer is that usually your best people quietly leave for companies that route work better. Now, to end this video off, I wanted to talk about how the agent layer is still fragmented. The best tool for code review isn't going to be the best tool for customer research or legal review or sales ops. Companies that learn to measure real work against real tools will route better as the landscape continues to change. Companies that don't will keep defaulting to whatever vendor they signed up for 2 years ago. Pick one job, measure it for a week, bring the data. That's the move. Subscribe. Deuces.